What is up, Cowboys Nation? Boy, Mike Tag here, hanging with Kelly K9. It's been a minute, and hope you guys are doing good. As you're rolling in, make sure you get that like, subscribe, share. But Kelly, I kind of been screwing up here, man. I apologize. But first, how are you doing, man? It's been a minute since we've been doing a live show. What's a good word?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing really good. I'm just enjoying the. I'll be honest with you, man. I'm ready for some different weather. The weather's been killing me every year around this time. It's the allergies, but then I just also got a cold that knocked me on my ass for the last couple of days because it's literally 70 degrees one day and -10 wind chill the next. It's unbelievable. Monday it snowed. And we were having -10. Today it was 80 degrees. 80. My body doesn't know what the hell's going on. It's just up, down, up,
It's
down.
colder here than it is there.
Yeah, and they said Saturday it's gonna get up to 90 degrees, and then Monday it's gonna be 52. So my body don't know what the hell's going on, man. It's just
well, I was in South Carolina, and then I didn't pack anything because I'm like, it's summer, it's springtime, it's fine. And it was freezing. So I had to buy a Charleston College sweatshirt because I was freezing. I had to get something. And then you wear it all weekend because I wasn't going to spend a whole bunch of money on winter clothes that I don't need. So yeah, I feel you. And then my wife's credit card gets hacked, so we had to cancel.
Oh hell.
And so I apologize, but my Twitter, I haven't even been on Twitter in like a week. I didn't realize my blue check mark is gone. So now I can't even stream we're not even streaming on Twitter right now. So it's just been a tough couple of weeks, man. Just not with it, but I'm glad you guys are rolling in. We're going to have a good show. I know basketball's going on and all the, March Madness and trying to keep up with that. And North Carolina, it looks like they just got tied. They were tied 75-75. A lot of upsets. There's been a lot of upsets, which that's what I think with March Madness. It is so cool, just because it's just you get the Cinderella stories. It's not really like football where the best team usually ends up winning. Basketball, man, just anything can happen, man, if you get hot.
Yeah, man, this is the time of the year, man. It's the time of the year where upsets happen, and it's one of the funnest. Like, I love NFL football. It's always going to be my first love, but man, the college basketball tournament is one of my favorite tournaments and postseasons, just because one, there's so many teams. And it's like every game is just pure drama, pure cinema, excitement down to the wire. You get these, crazy buzzer beaters. You get these teams that come storming back from being down, and come back to win it. Like, it's just so many great moments that have happened in the month of March when it comes to college basketball, man. It's really, really hard to beat, man, because it's every play is just unbelievable.
One of my favorite sports, like the playoff stuff. It's definitely one of the best. Definitely one of the best. Yeah. Happy we are happy to be back. We are happy to be back, man. It's been a minute. It's been a minute, but Miami is playing. Kelly and I were talking before we went on the show. Miami is playing Mizzou in St. Louis at 10:10 at night. We didn't get any favors. We didn't get any favors in our schedule. And then you're playing in my neck of the woods in Tampa. Texas Tech is in Tampa. But you were kind of telling me, and I don't follow basketball enough, but you guys kind of had a team that was ready to make a run, but injuries and losing key guy just kind of squashed that a little bit.
It's going to be tough, man. I mean, I'm always one to pump up my team but I'm also a realist. So, I mean, if I was picking Texas Tech, I think that they could make it past the first round. I think they'll beat Akron, and I think they'll make it actually into the next round, which would actually put them into because this would be the round of 32. So put them into the Sweet 16. I don't think they'll advance further than that. I think it's a pretty tough. I mean, they got a favorable matchup in the bracket that they're in. There's not really, but I got to be realistic, man. JT Toppin, it's a game changer. I mean, ended the season, lost our last 3 games. One of our last loss was in the Big 12 tournament, which Tech never really has performed well in the Big 12 tournament, even when they made the national championship in 2019. But If they had JT Toppin, I absolutely think that this is a team that would have been in the national championship game. They had the team to do it this year, but injuries, man, it's an unfortunate part of the sport, and we had to deal with a terrible one. So I'll look forward to the game tomorrow, though. It should be a good one.
Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna get into the draft. I will do a cold water plunge. If we get Ruben Bain, I 1000% would do a cold. Man, I would do backflips, which we're gonna get into. But looking at, I think I got my Twitter fixed. That's why I was kind of doing that. So I apologize if you saw me kind of looking at my phone. I was trying to get set up again. I guess it's just terrible. The only good thing is always check your credit card statements, because you know what it was, Kelly? We use our credit cards for like all the purchases because I try and get as many points, man. I got my Cowboys card, you know what I mean? So, and we're sitting there looking at it. My wife, sometimes she, you get so many subscriptions, $2.99, $1.99, and it kept seeing it. So you just kind of like blow it off like it's no big deal. And then I saw 60 and then 50, and then it was all Apple Pay. And then it was $40. And it ended up getting upwards of like $600. And I told my wife, I said, "What are you buying?" I said, "I don't understand." And she goes, "I didn't make any of those charges." We looked in and we ended up calling the credit card company. Thank God they refunded everything, but we had to change our cards. And now I'm kind of going through all the things because you forget everything you have on auto pay. That's important. And so I've been dealing with that the last week too. But yeah, be careful. There's a lot of fraud out there, man. A lot of people.
Oh yeah, you got to be careful for sure, man. People,
so you fell victim of that, and with Twitter.
Yeah, I have. I've fallen victim to that before. Yeah, it's there's some bad people out there do some some very dishonest things, man. It sucks, but it happens. Yeah. Glad you caught it before it got crazy out of hand.
Yes. Let me just try to say alive back in the cave. So, well, let's talk about the Cowboys. You guys, we need your we need to get you guys. This is going to be really some audience participation because we need your help and maybe a sense of sanity of where things are at, right? Because we had our free agency run. And I know a lot of you guys, some happy, some sad. Kelly, not so happy. But then I started to see you turn around. We had our show, and you and I, we agreed on some stuff and kind of disagreed on a few others. And I think a lot of Cowboy fans, that's kind of the way it is across the board, right? So now it's done. And we've addressed, I think we feel pretty good with some of the moves they made, some questions on others. But it's really the cream is gone, right? So now it's really looking at the draft. And what are you seeing as the focus turns to the draft? What is the number one position of need that they have got to get it right? What's the
I think right now it's looking like that they're kind of zeroing in on linebacker. I think that Ultra had mentioned earlier about a possible trade up to, David Bailey, pass rusher. I think it's either between a pass rusher or a linebacker at this point. Is kind of where I feel. Now, it's defense regardless. Whether it's pass rusher, whether it's linebacker, or whether it's DB, I think it's one of those three, right? It's defense, but it feels like a lot of the buzz is around linebacker, is where a lot of the buzz has been around.
Well, look at the linebackers. Let's look at it. And I've thrown some across the ticker for you guys. Obviously, Reese is not going to be there. Sonny Styles is a name that was linked to the Cowboys, and I think he had a very good pro day, and people saw his ability and saw his some of his skills. And then CJ Allen, they had a pro day, and some people are saying he didn't look good and whatever. I'm not real huge on all these workouts. I want to see what they did against competition. And then one that's really climbing up the charts is Rodriguez. So I would just ask you, if you're looking at the draft, I don't think a linebacker at 12, unless it was like Sonny Styles, right?
Yeah,
so
no.
Are you getting close to the position of trading back to try and gather maybe a couple picks? Maybe would you be willing to trade that 12 down to 15, 16 and maybe snag one of the corners, which we'll kind of talk about? Or are you hell bent on, I do not want to trade down, maybe even trade up? Like kind of where are you at with the draft and where you guys are? Because I think linebackers in that 20 down. And or B of that question would be, would you have any angst? I think I know the answer, but you guys in the chat, if they just said, you know what, our guys, Jacob Rodriguez, we're going to draft him at 20. We don't have a 2. We're not going to screw around. We can't trade down. We're just going to pick them and live with it. Or is that something you could live with? And you guys in the chat definitely want your opinions.
I mean, I'm not against a trade back. You know what I mean? I'm not against a trade back. If it's just kind of depends on the way their board falls. I mean, ultimately, so far, I've thought that they've made some pretty solid moves in free agency, how they've kind of addressed it, how they went about it. I think they kind of have a plan in mind. So I'm going to trust what they're doing. Obviously the Tech fan in me, I mean, I've got, no problems taking Jacob Rodriguez at pick number 20. If they were to trade back a little bit, if they trade back to, 25 or whatever, grab him at 25, grab him at 27, whatever. I have no problems. I know he's shot up a lot of people's boards. I know there's a lot of people on board with him. And I know that there's a lot of people, there's been some controversy, I'd say, when it comes to him in terms of, is he worth a first round pick? Is he a second round guy? Is he a third round guy? And a lot of the things that I have heard, man, I mean, honestly, the only thing that I've really heard was that, when it comes down to it, the only thing I've wanted to have legit conversations with people and just say, look, I'm not going to be upset if you don't like him at that pick. What's your reason for not liking him? And I think the only reason that I have heard was that basically he plays for Texas Tech and it was in the Big 12. And I'm like, well, if that's your reason, then that's not a good enough reason because, DeMarcus Ware played for the University of Troy. And didn't play in a big name conference. And how'd that work out? I mean, Luke Kuechly. I mean, there's a ton of linebackers that have
go a mile long.
I mean, you could go list miles long of linebackers. But the guy, when I look at Jacob Rodriguez, he was the number one graded defender in all of college football last year. Number one against the run. I mean, 7 forced fumbles, 4 interceptions. Dude's a stud. Now, whether he fits this Cowboys defense or not, that's still to be determined. But would I love to have him on the team? Absolutely, I would. I still think that the Cowboys might be looking at a linebacker in terms of trade. That's still something that could be on the table. So we'll see. But regardless, they got to address. They still need another pass rusher. They still need at least one linebacker, maybe 2, and then they need to address the DB. So there's really 3 positions that I think they kind of got to go after. And I don't know that you can get all 3 to be starters in this draft. I don't know that you can do that. Maybe, but I mean, I don't know. I think you may have to go out and get somebody via trade and then address the other 2 positions in the draft.
Well, let's just switch something real quick just to answer a question because Michael, I've heard this come around and just hypothetical questions is. We got pick 12, and let's say Tate, the Arizona State kid, is there. There was at Hyatt. I forgot which one it is. I forgot his name, but I know which one you're talking about. Is there? Would you take him? Would you take a receiver and then try and move George Pickens to get some first-round picks? Maybe get one back this year, maybe one next year, whatever you can end up getting, or even a first and second, maybe first, second, and something next year. Whatever the case may be. Is there any scenario where you would take a wide receiver with that 12th pick? Be tough.
Man, I mean, the problem with that is that you're if you did that, then I mean you're neglecting one of your biggest holes, and that's on defense. And so, I mean, unless that pick, they're giving you a pick, and then a defensive player that's going to contribute and be a contributor, impact player this year, then I don't think I make that trade. Just because of the fact that if you're going to make that trade, I think they would have done that already. Try to move him for a defensive talent. Maybe get a talent and some picks. I personally would not want to do it. I mean, because here's the other thing, man. Wide receivers, yeah, they can come in and they can make an impact, but you're not getting a rookie wide receiver going to come in and do what George Pickens did last year for this offense. You're just not. It's not going to happen. So, no, I don't. I think that this offense with Dak and CD and George Pickens and Ryan Flournoy at 3 and Jake Ferguson, I think they're set up to put up big numbers again this year. You need to fix this defense. You need to get this defense right. And you get this defense right, and you're going to win double-digit games this year.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. What is your take on C.J. Allen from Georgia? I mean, this is a linebacker that obviously off the chart numbers, with Georgia, a leader. He calls the defensive plays. He doesn't call the. I mean, he calls the defensive plays. He doesn't like take it from the sideline. He is seems like his football IQ is really high. Leader, championship program. Pivotal position on the defense. Some people are like, he looked a little stiff, and they a little bit on his pro day. I mean, how much stock do you put in that? And do you have any thoughts on C.J. Allen? How would you feel about him?
So the only reason I look at C.J. Allen, and doesn't really have so much to do with the workout tape. I don't really care about the workout film. What I'm more concerned about is that stiffness still from that meniscus surgery that he had, because he did have an injury. And me personally, I'm out on taking anybody that's still trying to work back from an injury. If he's not going to be 100%, if he's not already 100%, is he, because he did look stiff out there. I mean, there's no denying that he looked that way. Again, like I said, I've seen people have bad workouts. I'm not a guy that sits there. I've said it millions of times. I'm not a workout guy. I'm not sit there and look at the combine. You got workout warriors, and then you got guys that actually go on the field and put in the work. But I'm out on a guy if he's still recovering from some knee issues, and if he's not going to be 100% at the start of the season, because we don't need guys that are going to be good come October or November. We need guys that are going to be good come the first week in September, when it's time to put on the pads and play football.
Yeah, no, I agree. Which then if we go, I think the other position of need for me is cornerback. And, you're looking at, what we have, and you got that 12th pick. And there are going to be some options. There are going to be some options there with kid from LSU, kid from Tennessee. You got Terrell, who's got, football in his blood with the family and all that kind of stuff. Hood, another one from Tennessee. But, the Jermon McCoy is a name you hear a lot. But if my memory serves me, he's coming off kind of injury.
Yeah. Well, he's another guy, and listen, from everything that, if you've listened to like the Cowboys pressers and stuff when they've talked about it, they're staying away from guys with injuries. I mean, that's pretty much, they've said that they're not willing to take chances on guys that are suffering from. So I think, honestly, I think a guy like C.J. Allen, unless he's around like in the third, I think a guy like C.J. Allen, and I think Jared McCoy, I think they're off the Cowboys' radar. Honestly, I do. I think they want guys that they don't have to worry about coming back from injuries and how they will be when they come back from an injury. So I know I've seen Jared McCoy get mocked to the Dallas Cowboys on several guys. In fact, I think he was Mel Kiper's latest mock. I don't buy it. I don't think the Cowboys are going with any guys that have any kind of injury issues right now. And granted, maybe he'll be a great to go week one. I just don't see the Cowboys going after him and putting a target on him or C.J. Allen right now.
Yeah, and they really just don't have they don't have the room for that era, right? Like we're talking,
no,
if you look at they've got to get in their first three picks, they got to get 2 starters. And I mean, when I mean starters, I mean contributors, not just guys that are just kind of bodies. I'm talking about contributors. Doesn't have to be all pros or anything like that, but they got to be guys you can count on. And I think that's one of the concerns there. So then that's going to have to lead us, because, I mean, I think we're focusing on defense, right? I think defensive tackle, I can't believe we're saying this today, is probably as good as it's been in a long time. So I think we feel good there. I think edge rushers were not like doing backflips down the sidewalks, but maybe an okay feeling. Linebackers, I know we talked about. Cornerbacks, we talked about. They addressed the safety. I think safety, they kind of definitely got stronger there. So edge rushers. And you're seeing, obviously, it's Bailey and Bain. Which one's going to go first? And some are going to give Bane, something because his arms are about an inch shorter or whatever than what they like. I don't know. I just saw him wreak havoc in college football for 3 years, so I don't know. I've seen enough tape on him, but I can't see one of them two being available. So then you get into the Mesidors, you get into Falk, you get into Howell, you get into Parker, Young, Thomas. Your other guy Hyatt, which would be or Hyatt, which would be the other guy from Texas Tech. How are you feeling with our edge rushers, and could that be a possibility at 12 or 20 to get the edge rushers?
Yeah, so I think the second level of pass rushers, I think, is more towards the back end. I think more towards the 20 range, or a trade back from 12. I don't think you're going to grab any of those guys at 12, personally. I think what you're hoping for is one of these guys that are towards the top, that you look for them to fall. And one of the things that you got to look at now, Miami picking ahead of the Cowboys is now probably looking at drafting wide receiver. Their wide receiver room is looking like pretty pathetic right now. Yeah, Jalen. Yeah, if you got Jalen Tolbert as your number 1 or number 2, your wide receiver room is looking, like some booty cheeks, and not the ones that are on Saturday night. This is like a Monday day shift at the strip club. Booty cheeks, all the cellulite and everything just jiggling around. Nothing you want to see there. So look, Miami's going to pick it. I think Miami's going wide receiver. So you start looking at things like that, and you hope that maybe some of the guys that are in that range that have been mocked, that they start to fall, because that's all it takes. It's all it takes is one of these defenders to slip just a little bit, and maybe they slip enough to where the Cowboys say, you know what, we're going to pull the trigger, we're going to trade up, we're going to use a little bit of these assets that we got, we're going to move up, we're going to jump up a couple slots, because maybe it's not to slot number 6, maybe the Cowboys jump up from 12 to 10, you know what I mean? Maybe they jump up 12 to 9 or something, you never know. But I think that's kind of where the Cowboys lie right now, is that hoping one of those talents that they're looking at towards the top of the board fall. And I definitely could see the Cowboys. Trading back from 12. I really could. I think if they don't see a guy there that they really value at that pick, then I could see them trading back a couple slots to possibly pick up a second round guy, to where then they got, now you got 2 picks in the first, now you got a pick in the second, now you got a third round pick because of the Osa trade. So I think the Cowboys can get creative with this thing, because here's the deal. If you're not going to go out and you're make a trade and bring a veteran, and you're going to do all the rest of your work in the draft, then you really need to get as many guys, in that top 50 to 60 range that you can get. Because once you get outside of that, you're, hoping that a guy's going to come in and be an impact guy from week 1 is kind of grasping at straws there.
No, and I think that's going to be the problem with the Cowboys, is kind of where they want to be. And I think they want to get in the second round, because I think they feel maybe Rodriguez is there. I love Keontae Scott from Miami. I know you and I are going to be biased in our teams, but I think they need playmakers. And the one thing I would say about Rodriguez, he's a playmaker, man. He's a playmaker. Keontae Scott, playmaker. Whenever the ball, there always seem to be around the ball. And I think that's what the Cowboys defense is really missing. And I think they're missing some attitude. And I think some of these types of guys, if they were lucky enough to get Bane or Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs. If like you said, there's going to be teams that are going to end up reaching or have need positions, and they're going to take guys that we thought maybe they'd go this way. Now they're going to go that way. We said with Miami, they had Tyreek Hill and Waddle, and now they got nobody. And, they had talked about them looking at a defensive end or cornerback or safety, and now that's kind of gone away. So.
Well, you look at it. All the good guys can't be. All the great elite guys are not going to be gone by 12. You know what I mean? And that's the thing, is that you said, everybody's Sonny Styles won't make it to 12. Downs won't make it to 12. You're not going to have what's the cornerback's name? Delane. Yes, they're like, he's not going to be there at 12. Like, all those guys are not getting drafted before 12. One of those guys is going to be there at 12. You're going to have an option of one of those guys at 12. Right. So somebody's going to be there. And, and here's the thing. If the Cowboys aren't high on who falls to them at 12 and who's there and is available for them, they have that option to trade back. They can do that. Because here's the thing. If you've got a guy, let's just say that you do have one of the top wide receivers that end up falling, and they fall, and you've got one of the top wide receivers sitting there at 12. You don't think that there's going to be some teams that are wanting a wide receiver that say, hey, man, we didn't think that this guy was possible that we'd get him, but look, he slid down to 12, and then they're offering a great trade package to the Cowboys to grab this guy. I mean, the Cowboys are going to be working the phones. We've seen them do it. They've traded down, they've traded up. We've seen them do both. So it'll just be interesting. It's always interesting on draft day, but especially, when you have a fringe top 10 pick in the draft, because things can go a lot of ways. A trade up to me seems less realistic than a trade back, in my opinion, just because of the fact that you do not have the draft capital this year to really package something to move up. You would have to probably, and it costs a lot to move up in the draft. So I don't really see a trade up happening with the Cowboys. I see the more likeliest scenario is the trade back or staying at 12.
How surprised would you be if they went offense with the 12th or in the first round?
I mean, it would shock me. It would shock me. I would say right now, if they went offense, I'd be surprised.
Yeah,
I'd be surprised because you look at it; it's a loaded offense. You've got the number one offense. You had the number one offense last year. You're going to have between CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, and Dak Prescott. You have a ton invested into that offense. You did have the dead last ranked defense, a historically bad defense. It's the equivalent of somebody telling you that you need a transmission for your car and you put new rims on it. You know what I mean? That's what it is to me. It's neglect, right? I mean, if somebody's telling you, hey, you need a transmission, your shit's slipping, you're probably not going to make it another, couple thousand miles on this thing. And you're like, nah, I don't want to put them 22s on it because that shit looks sweet. Like, nah, what are we doing here, man? We got to, and I know where people are like, you got to take best player available. You can't, and I'm not saying they got to reach, but I guarantee you there's a defensive player going to be there at 12 that's going to be able to help this Cowboys defense. You look at the talent in the Cowboys defense, there's going to be a guy there at 12 that can help this defense this year for sure.
And I don't think there's going to be a guy, there. Like, I know a lot of people are, Jeremiah Love, the running back from Notre Dame, if he were to fall, but I don't think he's going to fall. I mean, now I see a lot of things like the Tennessee Titans are high on him, give Cam Ward some help. And obviously the Miami tackle, I mean, he's a monster. He's not going. He'll be the first tackle off. There's just no way that he's going to drop to 12. So if you were to get situations like that, then it's like, well, what do? You couldn't pass. I mean, they couldn't pass up CeeDee Lamb when it was there, Des Bryant. I mean, there's situations where it's just, if the player's that high on your board and he falls, then there's nothing you can do. I don't think you're going to get that. I think you could with a receiver, but I just don't think the Cowboys would do that. I think they'd end up trading back before they would draft, one of the top receivers. The only other thing that I'll just throw out there, what do you think about what about the Oregon tight end? Could there be any possibility the Cowboys draft a tight end in the first round? None.
I don't see that. I see that as a 0% chance. Like I said, man, I understand where people are saying that, hey, this could play out, this possibly. I would be willing to take it to the bank that the Cowboys. I would be willing to bet some pretty good money that the Cowboys go defense. I don't see them under any circumstance going offense. Not with. Look, if you look at the moves that they've started to make in free agency, and you look at all the talk that they've talked about. Everything they talk about has been improving the defense. I mean, Shoddy's talked about it. Richard Parton's talked about it. Stephen Jones talked about it. Jerry Jones talked about it. They tried to make a trade for Max Crosby. That didn't work out. They literally were going to offer a first round, a second round, and a player. They're serious about upgrading this defense. They're serious about upgrading the defense. So, I mean, it just wouldn't make any sense for them to all of a sudden be like, yeah, we're drafting a wide receiver, we're drafting a tight end, we're drafting a tackle, a guard. You know what I mean? It just wouldn't make any sense for them to do that at this point unless everything that they're saying is just an absolute smokescreen so that they can go offense. Then but again, I just don't see it happening. I don't see it happening.
The thing too is it's the defense was historically bad.
Historically bad.
And I think we all agree. I like the moves that they made on defense, but it's not moves that's going to just all of a sudden vault them into the top 10. Obviously scheme and you're banking on the coaching, and I know coaching matters a lot in football, but it's not like they went out and just got these huge name guys and you feel all of a sudden you feel pretty good. You're still a little leery of the defense. How good is it's not going to get worse, right? I think it's definitely going to get better. Just
hope
because
not.
I think the coaches well, it can't get worse. We're last, but I think the coaches are going to be better, and I think they did address some key position safety, getting in some leaders, and obviously, on the edge and defensive tackle, things like that. They did make some adjustments and address some areas. So I think they're going to be better. But in order to be a Super Bowl contender, they're going to have to get better than what they are today with what they got. I think we all probably could agree with that. And the way to do it is the only way to do it left is through the draft, or if they got to trade up their sleeve. That's it.
Yeah. Now, so if we had gotten Max Crosby and that trade went through, we got a Max Crosby, right? And then we got one pick in the first round. We got Max Crosby and well, obviously, I think if you get Max Crosby, you probably don't get Rashawn Gary, which whatever. But I think if you got a Max Crosby, and now you're telling me you got the Max Crosby along with the safety, the two safeties we got, and along with the DB that we got, then I could maybe see, then I could be like, all right, well, maybe I could see that happening. We didn't, right? And right now you're looking for impact, and you want impact on defense.
Yeah.
And you're not going to get impact on defense if you draft a wide receiver. And again, you drafted a wide receiver. I think that need for a wide receiver or even a tight end is so far down the Cowboys board right now. Because of the fact that you do have a Ryan Flournoy and you do have a CeeDee Lamb and you do have a George, but that's a great 1, 2, 3. Period. That is one of the best wide receiver rooms in all of football right now. I don't know that there's a better 1, 2, 3 out there that I would pick over that 3 right there. I don't. You know what I mean? I know there's a great one out there in Cincinnati, but I would still take our 3 over that.
No,
I think the maturation of Flournoy last year towards the end of the year was really great to see, and I'm very excited to see what he does here in this next year. So I couldn't personally see that. It'd blow me away. I'd be shocked. That'd be absolutely.
It would surprise me. And Eric, my Miami running back, he's coming back to Miami, thankfully. So Fletcher will be back. He's not out yet. He's going to be, he's a big dude. He's going to be a running back that a team would want to get definitely next year. But the way it is with running backs, they make more money going back to college. It's crazy. Unless you're Love, who's going to be, a top 15 pick, you're going to get that money. If you're a 3rd, 4th, 5th rounder in as a running back in the NFL, you're better off going back to college and just play another year and make a few million and be happy and not kill your body so much because, they don't have the wear and tear because a lot of the college teams do rotate their running backs a lot more. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. Do we have an update on that, on the overtime game with North Carolina? Let's just see. I was trying to look it up. And did anyone see the final? Because it came off. It's off my screen. You see it, Kelly?
I'm looking it up right now.
North Carolina loses in overtime to VCU.
11 seed, 6 seed.
Yeah.
Another
upset.
The big upsets always seem to be the traditionally it's the 5-12 seed. Those are the 5-12, which is what Tech has tomorrow. Has got the 5-12, which kind of sucks. But
well, let's say Jesse Holly, we feel for you, my brother. I know you're UNC, right? Not a good day for you, but I'm not going to talk shit because Miami hadn't played yet. So I feel for you, and hopefully we don't lose tomorrow night. I don't like 10 o'clock game. 10 o'clock game. It basically a home game for the team we're playing. I do not like that at all. So looking elsewhere, with the draft and kind of maybe the Cowboys overall, we talk about the offensive line And I think we agree, yeah, man, there's still a little hole there, maybe with tackle. I think we feel pretty good
Yeah.
about the guards. I think we feel good about the center. I think left tackle, right tackle, we're kind of like, a little bit of not all excited, So if the Cowboys go to a tackle in the first round, I know you and I were on that show yesterday, and boy, we did not like them going offensive line in the first round. We wanted dynamic. We wanted wide receiver. We didn't know they were getting Pickens, so calm down. I mean, they didn't have Pickens yet, so we needed it, and it proved to be right because we definitely needed someone opposite CD.
Yeah.
But Booker turned out to be pretty good. It almost reminded me of, when a lot of Cowboy fans are pissed off when we got Frederick in the first round and they got crucified by the media, and that turned out to be a pretty good pick. I mean, how are you with offensive line, especially tackle, more than anything? I don't think they did anything else.
Yeah. I'm good on offensive line. I'm good on offensive line too. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, it's just, to me, I just keep looking at it to the point of how much more can you put into your offense? I mean, that before it's like, all right, it's time to look towards the defense. And that's just how I keep looking at it, man. And that's so that's, for me, logically, I just can't think any other way. I mean, I understand how it is. It's like, if you get a great player that falls to you, how do you pass him up if you've got him graded, if he's your highest graded player? I get that. And if that's the case and that's what happens and that's what they draft, then I'm going to trust that, hey, you know what? They didn't think that a guy but I mean, I've also heard the Cowboys say that they had Taco Charlton graded above TJ Watt. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, don't sit there and tell me that I can't trust that I can't, and not that long ago we invested a bunch of players on defense, and it was the year we drafted Micah Parsons, was that 2021, and Jay Tuck posted that graphic. There's not one damn player from that draft on this team anymore.
Yeah. No.
That entire draft class is gone. And they drafted several defensive players in that draft. So, the only one that really hit was Parsons. So, that's the thing, is that the Cowboys, for a long time, I felt like the Cowboys used to get a lot of credit for being one of the best teams in drafting young talent.
Yeah.
But if you look at it lately, they've had some pretty big whiffs. They've had some pretty big misses lately. And whether that's, you lay that on the feet of Will McClay or not, it seems like the only thing they can hit on is offensive linemen. When you go outside of offensive linemen, boy, then they start really missing, because you got your Micah Parsons, but you also got your you got your Mazzy, you got your
I think the defense, to your point, the defense, they've struggled, right? I mean, I'm just trying to think about it. Outside Micah Parsons obviously was a great pick, but I mean, that just kind of fell right. I mean, he fell right to him. That was a no-brainer. But looking at cornerbacks, I'm just trying to think of some of that. I mean, Diggs he had moments. I don't want to call that a bust pick in the second round, but then you look at some of the Kelvin Joseph. I mean, no disrespect to him and the Gregories and the Mozzies and the Taco and the other cornerbacks that they had and the safety. I mean, they've struggled drafting defense. So that's where it's now you're making me feel like you now. Now there's some concern. Are we going to screw this thing up in the draft? Hopefully not.
Well, I hope not, but I mean, it's been, the track record speaks for itself. They, outside of Michael Parsons, they really haven't. I mean, who's the last defensive guy that they drafted that turned out to be a cornerstone, guy that we keep around for the next 10 years? I mean, it's been a while.
Yeah, there's been a lot of potential. It's just it never. The overshown, you just don't know what's going to happen there. Bland had that moment, and he's been injured. So, but I mean, he was a late round pick, so it's fine. But, they pay him the money. But yeah, you got Kalen Carsons, you got Leafau, Nealon, Fiocco, Sam Williams was a guy that, I think every year we say he's our breakout player. I think what did we do that about 3 years in a row? He was our breakout player for the Cowboys and never seemed to break out. So yeah, yeah. And I mean, Diggs was a good. I mean, second round pick. I'm not gonna argue that. You thought he'd be cool. Injuries got the best of him. I mean, you can't predict that. He was healthy for the most part. Coming out, it wasn't like he was injury plagued his whole career or anything like that. It's just it's unfortunate. So yeah. So anyway,
Rick, I'm gonna do my mock draft on Sunday. I'm gonna have to do mine on Sunday.
Yes. So we're going to be doing our 2.0. Kelly's going to be doing his draft. So be looking for it. We'll drop them over the weekend. And then we are going to probably we did it last year. It was fun. I don't know if it'll be next week or the week after. We're going to do the fan draft. So what I'd ask you guys is get a hold of Kelly, get a hold of me. You guys know how to find us, and just send us a message and say, hey, I want to be part of the draft. And then what we do is hopefully we'll get 7 or 8 of you guys, and then we'll call on you guys and we'll run the live mock draft. We'll do it with everybody. And when it comes to your round, you're going to be the decision maker. It's going to be your fan draft. And then we'll do the Cowboys Cave fan draft and see, we'll stack them up and see how we end up being at the end, if any of us actually got any prediction. The only thing I would say is I did like 3 of them. I got one player that we actually drafted, and that was Revel. And I got laughed at by people when I drafted him. They said I was an idiot. He was the only one we drafted. So, but anyway, Kelly, I am going to share a story with you. It's story time in the Cowboys Cave with the Dallas, and this is kind of a personal Dallas Cowboy experience. So I think I talked to you guys before, and I said it was always my lifelong dream to be a season ticket holder. It was a proud thing. It was a bucket list. So I did, and I ended up getting season tickets. And 2 years into them, I kind of got an impulse, and I'm very usually methodical when it comes to making decisions, especially financial decisions. And I went with my gut and just made an impulse reaction, and I went ahead and got club seats. And so I've had the club seats for 4 years, and it just got to a point where I don't really see the value for the return. And it's not the product on the field. It's the club level was supposed to be a little bit more exclusive, and it's supposed to be some different perks with it, and nothing became of that. And all it's been is just price increases year after year. So I made the decision. I'm just going to cut my losses, and I'm going to go ahead and turn them in. And I got a call from the Dallas Cowboys, and it was a new rep because my rep's gone. And they said, hey, what's going on? Why are you giving them up? Because the team, they made some investments. We're not raising prices. I guarantee prices won't get raised. Because typically, so you guys know, when you do your season tickets, the seat license is due the day before free agency. So you don't know what the season tickets costs are until later. So once you pay the license, I mean, it's you're done. I mean, you're in there. And so I shared with him an email that I got last year, and it was they jacked our tickets up, I think over $100 a ticket. So if you times that by 2, times that by 8, and then you include the preseason games, the preseason games alone are $1,200 for 2 games that you just basically piss away. I gave them away to listeners because you're not going to sell them. And I said, well, when all this shit happened, I sent an email to my rep, and I just said, hey, the tickets, are going up pretty significantly. What did you guys do to improve my game day experience? And all it was a simple question. It was just like, I didn't say anything about the team. I didn't say anything about the roster. I didn't say, all I wanted to know is, what did you do? Did you add more bathrooms? Maybe it was food. It's maybe the line, whatever you guys did. And they said, if you're not happy, here's a link where you can sell your season tickets, and you can sell them on the portal. And so from that point, I was like, you know what? Fuck you guys. I said, I'm not, and I'm a Cowboys fan through and through, and I'm still going to go to games. So I told the story to this guy, and he was kind of taken back by it. He apologized. He's very nice, and there's no issue. It's just, then he's selling me on the team again. And I'm like, man, it ain't about that. It's about the experience, and it's about, all of that. And it's just the money keeps just continuing to rise. and it just wasn't there. So I turned him in, man. It was a sad day. I felt bad. My wife tried to talk me out of it, but I said, I just can't I can't do it. I can't do that.
Yeah.
Spend that money. And because the resale on it, you lose. And so I ended up doing that. So anyway, that's my
sad
story.
day in Cowboys history.
So we're going to be slumming it from now on, Kelly and the rest of you guys, but it's okay. It's okay.
Hey man, I don't mind. I don't mind. We got huh?
Go ahead, Kelly. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say we got a super chat. There we go. I wish Ty Simpson would have made a bigger impression so that the Jets would trade up their other first round pick, or Minnesota trading up from 18. I need some team to do something stupid and make a domino effect to help us out.
I agree. No, I mean, but I would say that I'm just gonna say, Guy. I would say, Guy. There's gonna be something. You know that there's gonna be a team that reaches on a quarterback. It could be a cornerback. It could be something. I mean, how many times?
Remember last year the run on quarterbacks that nobody thought Bo Nix, or the year before that. Nobody thought Bo Nix was going top 10. Yeah. I mean, they're sitting there thinking he's like a bottom of the first round type guy. Bo Nix ends up going top 10. I mean, there was so many quarterbacks that got not Paxton Lynch, Jackson Dart,
McCarthy. You had a bunch of teams that ended up.
You get quarterbacks that end up getting drafted. I mean, again, this last year it was Jackson Dart that ended up going up, and people were like, did not think Jackson Dart's getting drafted as high as he did. The Giants go and take Jackson Dart. There's always going to be a team that's going to be in the top 10 that, like you said, they're going to go up there and they're going to snag somebody that.
You guys remember that name, Christian Ponder?
Christian Ponder, yes.
Well, and state quarterback, he ends up being like top 11 or top 12.
Exactly.
You just don't know.
No, you can never underestimate the value that a team puts on a quarterback that they believe is going to be their franchise guy, their savior, which is kind of why I like watching that movie with Kevin Costner. What's that? What's that? Draft Day.
Yeah.
Because it literally is a really good. I mean, I know it's a Hollywood movie and stuff, but there's a lot of reality in that, in terms of these teams, how they view a guy. Where one guy is like, nope, I'm out on this dude. He's not going to be the guy, and then everybody else is sold on him, and then and so it's one of those things. So it's funny. There will be a couple of. There always is. There's going to be a couple of surprise picks in the top 10 that's going to cause one of these guys to slide out of that top 10, and he's going to be sitting right there at 12. That we'll think, damn, we didn't think this guy would be here, but look, here's what happened. So it's going to happen.
I would do it for Bain, and if somehow Bailey falls, I will do an ice bath for if we got him too. If we get either one of those edge rushers by miracle, it would have to be a miracle. One of them fall to Dallas, I would absolutely, I would go crazy. We go streaking down the street. Whatever it is, man, it's going to be a great day for the Cowboys. I cannot see that happening. I'm looking.
Yeah, I can't either. I'll go one step further. I'd do the same thing. I'd take that ice bath for either one of those guys, but I would do it while wearing their rookie Cowboys jersey. I'd go out and buy me a jersey, Cowboys. I said I wasn't going to do it for any new players, but if we draft a Bain or a Bailey, I'll go buy the jersey and I'll do an ice plunge in the jersey. So.
Well, and looking at like the draft, so my fear for Bailey or Bain is Washington getting him, the Giants getting him. That's my bigger fear is
having to go up against those guys twice a year. Yeah, would not be fun.
So I'm hoping that if something happens, they neither one of them go. But don't sleep on Downs. I'm just telling you. And I know we got some safeties. I know we did that. But Caleb Downs, if he were to fall, that would be a very hard one to pass.
Yeah. Well, so here's the thing: we still got Malik Hooker in the safety room, and I think that I'm not saying he's the worst. I'm just honest that we could definitely upgrade from Malik Hooker. And if you draft Caleb Downs, sorry, see you later, Malik. You know what I mean? So no, don't. If Caleb Downs is sitting there, then yeah, I think that's a guy that you would grab. If Sonny Styles, I don't think he'll be there, but I think that if he somehow fell to 12, I think the Cowboys are snagging him in a heartbeat. So it will be interesting. It will be interesting to see what happens. I mean, like you said, it's the fun part about draft day. That's it. And when it comes to the NFL, I have three of my all-time favorite moments in the NFL times of year. One of them is draft day. The second is the opening kickoff night. Even if the Cowboys aren't playing in it, that's that first NFL game. And then my third is always the Thanksgiving game, just because that's like been a tradition for as long as I can remember, is being with a family and watching, the football. Like that will always be a tradition that I hold near and dear to my heart. So those are my three greatest moments. And then, I would like to say that the Super Bowl, but goddamn, it's been so long since the Cowboys played in that damn thing that it's almost become like a secondary, thing for me. But the Super Bowl, but those are my top three of the NFL moments.
I never thought about that, but I don't think, draft, always loved the draft. Obviously kickoff and yeah, definitely Thanksgiving. And it's funny because I think we've become numb as Cowboy fans to the Super Bowl. Like this Super Bowl, I didn't even pay attention. Like I watched zero coverage. I watched the game. I'm going to watch the game, but I didn't watch anything leading up to it. But hey, before we wrap it up, I know you got sick, but you had your issue with NyQuil, and I get it. But the 30-day, you went through and you had no alcohol. You went this whole cleansing, whatever you want to call it. So where are we at today? Where's Kelly at today with the alcohol and with everything else?
It was good. It was good. And then, I reintroduced my liver to a lot of beer over the weekend. We celebrated St. Patrick's Day, and I got, reinvigorated on Friday night, and then went pretty hard, pretty much all day Saturday, starting at about like 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, something like that. And that may be why I'm sick now, is because I go 30 days without it. My body's feeling good. My body's feeling healthy. I'm feeling, I'm feeling stronger. I'm going to the gym. And then all of a sudden I shock my body with giving it liquor again. And it's like, what the hell? We thought we were done with this. What are you doing to us? And then all of a sudden, I'm sick again. So,
it was drunk feeling. I mean, did your tolerance? Did you see a big change in your tolerance as far? But
tolerance didn't. So I had a lot of people tell me that they thought the tolerance. I'll tell you what. Friday night I put away enough beers to put a college kid down, man. I'm just telling you, man. There was no hit to the tolerance. I was slamming them 22-ounce mugs of beer. Yeah, like you wouldn't believe when I got done at the end of the night, I was like, I cannot believe I drank that much. And I took a few shots. So no, I could still definitely hold my liquor. But the thing is that, the whole 30-day thing was kind of a test of willpower, me wanting to do it, but also me wanting to get a little bit healthier and drink a little bit less. So I'm propelling that into one of those things where it's not an every single weekend thing where I'm going to try to do some healthier stuff, physical activities. As you start getting older, you start thinking about your own mortality and your own life and your life expectancy. And I want to be on this earth as long as I can. So I'm going to do the things that I have to do to get there. So if that means making some healthier life choices, then, Kelly K9 has grown up a little bit.
Yeah, I will say this, and this is no disrespect to any city. But I went to Charleston, South Carolina this weekend. And I'm just going to tell you this, and I'll just put it nicely. What a cool town. Everybody in that town looked fit. There was not like obese people running all over the place. And you know why? It's because everywhere you go, it's walking. It's just walking and walking. And I've never walked so much in a weekend than I did this past weekend, but it felt great. It really did. It was just like the weather was, it was cooler, so it wasn't hot. And the only thing I'll tell you guys is I did not know this. This is how stupid maybe I am, but I just thought we did this. We were doing the Outer Banks from the show. We did all the tours try and find where saw this person's house and John B's house, and we went on where all the water scenes were, on the water, and it's filmed there, but it's supposed to be the Outer Banks in North Carolina. But it was just the shops. So I'm just telling you guys, if you guys ever go there, never bring your wife and any daughter or any females. The money racks up so fast that I didn't even realize it. It's like, but there's shops. It's 2 miles of shops. Just,
oh wow.
You walk up and back, and it's money here. They had I'll tell this. My daughter goes into this store. It's called God. Oh shit. I'm terrible with my memory, but it's this store that everyone goes to or whatever. They had this sweatshirt, just a sweater, not a sweatshirt.
Was it Lululemon?
No, what is it? God damn it. I wish she was listening to the show. She can tell me. They have the perfume, and they had all the clothes. It's my wife and I had to go there in Dallas. We had to take a picture in front of it or whatever it's all the kids like to go there. $495, Kelly, for a sweater.
God damn.
Regular
sweater better than made of fleece gold.
Love Shack Fancy. It's called.
That's what it's called. What?
Love Shack Fancy, I believe it is.
I don't know if I don't think I've ever heard of that before.
I never heard of it, but $495 for a sweater.
Well, I'll tell you this. I know that I went down. I go down to San Antonio, and they got a lot of shops down there. There's this little shopping outlet, and they got stuff kind of like that. Those kind of stores, whatever. Like they got Versace, and they got all these. And I went into one of them Lacoste stores. Little alligator on the shirt or whatever. I went in to go look at it. I got a picture, man, of when I was a kid wearing one of them shirts, and we were dirt poor. And I don't know when those shirts with the little alligators all of a sudden became so goddamn expensive. I went in there to look and see what a T-shirt cost. It was just a T-shirt, regular white T-shirt, little green alligator on it. I went to look at that T-shirt, and the T-shirt was like $125. I said, "You got to be fucking shitting me!"
No, it's insane.
$125 for a T-shirt, but I mean $400 and some for a sweatshirt. That's like quadruple the amount of audacity.
Oh, it was ridiculous. I just couldn't believe that they could. I was talking about it today. I just, with a straight face, I don't know how they can do it. Then it's all female stores there. There's a couple guy stores, but it's really like high end, like tailored suits and like nothing that I would be wearing. So there's a sports store there, and it's vintage sports clothing. And I'm like, man, this is pretty cool. So I go there, and I'm like looking. All right, let me see it. And I find Dallas Cowboys. And they have the old jackets. And this is used, like second.
Okay. Yeah.
$200 for an old starter jacket. And I found like some of the shit is like in my closet. I'm like, dude, now I'm pulling it all out, and I'm going to go on eBay. And if someone wants to pay $200 for a used jacket or something like that, man, no problem. But the store was full of it. It had every baseball, basketball, football, college, they had all this stuff, and there must be a market for it because it was full. And everything was like $200. Every jacket. I looked at the old Miami Hurricane, like the Luther Campbell jacket. Yeah, $200, $199. I was like, there's no way. It's just crazy. Clothing has gotten so out of hand with pricing. I'm a simple guy. I wear the same stuff, like T-shirt, cowboy shirt, shorts.
Yeah.
It was like a culture shock at how much money this shit cost. It was crazy.
I'm the same way as you. I mean, I got a lot of Cowboys. I got a lot of Texas Tech. And if I don't, like, really the only brand name stuff I'd say that I wear is probably Nike, which, I mean, I would say Nike is crazy, but I'd say Nike is actually fairly, affordable when you look at all these other brands now that these kids are starting to wear. It's like almost like Nike has become like the basic, your basic stuff. I mean, yeah, it's basically that, it's like not a big deal no more. It's like Nike's not really anything anymore. It's starting to become, because you look at some of these things, some of this clothings now, and the stuff that people are wearing and what they're paying to wear it, and you're like, Yeah, I'm out on that. I'm not going to pay that much for that.
No.
It's
I mean,
off-brand stuff. Weird.
I go to like Ross or something like that. I look in and like and if I find a deal, like I found my buddy a St. Louis Cardinals baseball shirt was like $5, and it was like, and it was a nice shirt, and it was it looked good and all that. So I mean, I don't know. I not to get off subject, but clothing. These kids are in trouble. Houses, you can't afford a house. These kids coming out of school, clothing is out of control. Food, all this other shit, man. I don't know how they're gonna live, man. Good luck. Good luck.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy because I've I've felt the pinch over the past several years, and and I'm not gonna get into what I do and what I don't make. But I would say that I don't not make decent money, and it's over the past 4 years, like I felt it. Like I have physically felt, whether it's I was just complaining tonight, man. I said I went to the damn grocery store and I filled up my grocery. I had a grocery cart, and I wouldn't say it was like stacks full, but it was $235 worth of stuff
Oh yeah.
that'll probably last us maybe like 2 weeks. But one of the things I'm looking at as I go there and I go to buy some hamburger, and I remember growing up, man, hamburger helper was one of the cheap things we buy. Now you could still buy the helper, but the hamburger has gotten to be outrageous at like $15 for like a pound and a half of hamburger meat. That same thing of hamburger meat, I used to go to the store and I'd get that for like $5.
Yeah,
It's
easy.
like 15, almost $16. And steaks, forget about it, man. I mean, like, better gotta be like a special occasion. I went the other day and I looked because I was gonna, it's getting a little bit warm, so grilling season, right? And they had 3 ribeyes, and they're not small, but they're about that thick, about an inch and a quarter thick ribeyes. $80 for 3. I
Yeah.
used to get them ribeyes for like 25, $30 at the most, and now $80. I was like, you got to be shitting me,
Oh,
man!
it's
Like
crazy.
I it's
Out.
nuts.
You can't go to dinner just if 2 people for under $100 now. I mean, by the time you're out the door with a tip, and if you had a drink or something like that, it's
Well,
over.
no, and it's gotten crazy, but I will tell you this, and it's almost gotten to the point where me and my son have done this. It's almost to the point now though, when it comes to like groceries and how much everything has gone up, that all the ingredients that I have to buy to make the meals that we like to
Oh,
eat,
yeah, better off going out.
I can just go out and eat. I can go
Yeah,
out and eat because I'm going to save the time of having to prep it, and it's basically going to be the same cost.
yeah,
I can definitely go out and have a good steak for cheaper than what I could have to go buy that shit at the store and get all the fixings for it. I'll go to Texas Roadhouse, man, and grab me a steak, and for $30 for the whole damn meal, beer and everything for about 35 bucks.
yeah.
I could do that. I take the whole family out there. We can have steaks, because I sure as hell can't buying them steaks for the 3 of them are 80 damn dollars for 3 steaks. So like, nope, we ain't doing it. Let's go to Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah.
It's
No, I
crazy.
mean,
It
that's
is
it.
crazy.
We started shopping at Aldi. I don't know if you have Aldi around you or whatever,
I
but
do, man, and I have a lot of people that keep telling me that I got to. I guess I'm sleeping on all the.
I didn't do it for years. I didn't do it for years, and then finally, I'm like, you know what? Let's just go. My brother just swears by it. He swore by it. And the all the other stuff, and it's like, and I'm gonna be funny, but it's just real. Like I love cereal. Like I love cocoa. Cocoa Pebbles. I like Cocoa Puffs. I like, I still love that shit. Well, they got like their brand. And but cereal's like $6, $7, $8 a box sometimes, like wherever you go. And they have
Yeah,
their brand, like their Cocoa Puffs are like Cocoa something, and they're $1.99 for the box. And them some bitches are good. And they have like, I love the honey oats and
yeah,
bunch, whatever
that's one
that
of my
is.
favorite.
That they have that there. It's like $2.50 a box for the same size box, and it's better. It's better. So yeah, I'm just saying, like their vegetables, their all their frozen stuff and their refrigerated stuff. Some of their meats we've tried a little bit here and there, but they seem fine. But it's definitely a huge cost. We go out of there. I'd go to Publix, which is like our local grocery store. If we go in there, maybe 4 bags, it's $100 easily.
Oh yeah, oh
There, we
yeah.
went to Aldi and we filled up those same 4 bags. It was like $30, and I'm like, what the hell? I couldn't believe it. So I definitely
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give all these a try, man, because I have. You're like you're like the second person, or actually third or fourth person, really, because I've had several people have been telling me that lately. I have a friend that actually told me that he likes their produce, their vegetables and stuff.
The
He's like,
produce is really good, and it's so much cheaper than the others. And then like I said, we get you're never going to be able to get everything there. You're never going to get everything there, but you're going to get most of your stuff there. It's not going to solve all your problems, but it can solve most of them.
Hey man, I'm always looking to save a little bit of money, man. So
nowadays you have to, because it's out of control, and we all work hard. It's like I tell my wife, we work hard. I want to enjoy the weekend. So we can't go out all the time during the week, but so we gotta, you gotta make some value. Hey, I love chicken legs. I mean, thankfully, I love barbecuing some chicken legs on the grill. They're cheap as shit. I know they're cheap as shit, and my brother used to laugh at me for it, but he says, man, they're good. Like when I grill them up and get some barbecue sauce on them, they're fucking good. And
I love them too.
It's like $7. You just fed your whole family some chicken legs, and so anyway, I didn't mean
you're telling me I got 2 packs of chicken legs in the freezer right now. Is one of my favorite things to grill too.
You can't mess them up, man. It's like they're bulletproof, man. They're always, no matter what you do, as long as you cook them fully, they're always, you can overcook them, they're still juicy as shit and they're still good. So Stephen White
does. They said it's not spelled all D's. It's ALDIS. Aldi's. It's not D's like these nuts. Yeah, it's not all D's. All these nuts. No, it's not like that. Hey, listen, we're trying to inform our listeners. We're not just about the football. We can let you know where to cut corners and how to be financially responsible with your money when times are getting hard. We are here for you in those times as well.
Because we got the Cowboys Cave tailgate party. We need to make sure your money and your time is spent to take you there, because we're gonna have a good time. But
that's right. Man,
it's always good. I know it's a dead time, so we may not do shows every week during some of this slow time, the dog days of summer, but we got a lot of draft stuff coming. So Kelly is dropping his draft on Sunday. So make sure you guys hit that alert, hit the like, subscribe, all that kind of good stuff so you don't miss it, because we want to compare it. And then any of you guys that want to be part of the Cowboys Cave draft, we're going to do a live draft for the fans. You guys just hit one of us up and we'll get you on the list. And I think we only need like 7 of you, and that'll cover the rounds that we're picking and the picks, 7 or 8 of you, and then we'll take it from there. So definitely appreciate it. Hit that like, subscribe on your way out. Thank you all. Appreciate it. Kelly, have a great weekend. Good luck with Tech tomorrow.
Sir, appreciate that. Good luck to the Canes.
Yeah, maybe we might get lucky and see each other, but I just have this sneaky suspicion that come football season, I think Miami and Tech might be destined to finally, hopefully, have a little clash in the playoffs. I think they're both setting themselves up well.
Fingers crossed. I saw the odds came out for the Big 12, and Texas Tech is the only team with minus odds. They're like minus 115, so they're a huge favorite to win the Big 12 this year. With their schedule, honestly, they should go undefeated. So
good. And I saw someone had Miami as the number 1 seed predicted in the playoffs.
There you go. We got a chance of meeting up with each other.
And if any of you guys are doubting the Cowboys' opportunity to go to the Super Bowl, God knows how to mess with me. I don't have my season tickets. Bet your ass they end up going to the Super Bowl next year.
Hey, listen, if that is the sacrifice that it takes to make it, Mike, you'd be a willing participant, right? There you go.
All day long, but I appreciate it. You guys have a great weekend. Enjoy the basketball. Take care. See you.
Give me somebody that's hungry. Give me somebody that's hungry. I need somebody.